Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday night call. I'm Megan. I'm a coach on our team, and I have been doing this thing for 2.5 years. I'm a wife and a mama of three, two toddler boys and one in the oven cooking. Actually, I'm going to find out the gender of this baby in a month, and I cannot wait. I'm convinced it's a girl, but we'll see. Anyways, that's me. And Kelly, our team leader, has done a really awesome job of every time we have a team call, she makes everyone share their wins. So whether you're listening to the recording, and if you are, think of some in your head, jot them down, share them in your community group. We're all kind of in different ones with our coaches, I know. But type them in the chat and let's just cheer each other on, because part of what I want to talk to you about tonight has to do with counting your wins. So I want to start there. I want everybody to just harp on what has gone well this week. It doesn't even matter if it wasn't getting a workout in, a shake in, or following your nutrition plan. What made you feel good? What went well? And so that's going on in the chat. Just love on each other as you read them coming in. That would be great. I'm going to read a little bit of them. Thanks, Angela. That's awesome. Okay, so tonight I am going to talk to you guys about trusting the process of what you're doing here. And a huge part of that means being patient. So I'm going to talk about being patient with the process and being patient with yourself. So a lot of times when we get started, we have talked with our coach. They have gone over what we need with us. They've gone over what our fears are. They've gone over what has tripped us up in the past. And they have shared with us their own story and some other people's stories. And like this is going to be different, that you're ready. This is going to be the change that you need. It has all the things, and you have seen it work for other people. And you're just excited to try something different and something new, and to just have what your coach has coming. Welcome, Kristen. That's awesome. We're happy to have you here. So we are happy that, to get started and to see what this is going to do for us, right? So we start and we have our tools, whatever our coach, equipped us with that met our needs and our circumstances at the time. And we this is for those of you who actually start using it right away. I know we have some times where we're afraid to get started. We're afraid to start using the products. But that's a topic for another time. So we start using it. We start doing our workouts. We start drinking Shakeology. We start learning our nutrition plan and applying it where we can. And everything is going so well, right? We are digging into the community. We're learning from our coach. And we feel so excited to have our life be changed by this, and to start to see the pounds go, and to have fitness be a huge part of our life. And there hasn't been any temptations yet. There hasn't been a cookout. There hasn't been a holiday. There hasn't been your husband home craving pizza. There hasn't been things getting in your way yet. There hasn't been a stressful situation. The kids have been angelic, right? We've been getting 6 hours of sleep, and everything is going so well. She was right. This is so perfect. So then we get invited to our first barbecue, and our favorite dessert is the only thing we notice that's at the barbecue. And we run into Thanksgiving, and we have to spend it with the in-laws, and we literally want to kill ourselves. It's so stressful, and we just want to drink all the wine, even though the wine is not an FFC. So it gets really, really stressful, and we feel all of the feelings that we felt. Nice. We feel all the feelings that we felt when we were doing this alone, when we've tried before, and we run into the same roadblocks. We come to the same feelings, and we feel ashamed because we trusted our coach. We dug in, we started using the products, we started listening to what they had to say, and we feel the same because we've come to our first roadblock. So a lot of times we're tempted not to come to the call. We're tempted not to even listen to what the coaches have to say because we isolate, right? And we don't even want to try because frankly, we don't trust ourselves. And that is what I want to talk about. I want you to remember that this is a new thing and it is exciting, but our coaches weren't lying to you that this is different. A lot of times when we try something before Beachbody, and this is a lot of times, this isn't always, it's a quick fix. It's a diet that we heard about that somebody lost 40 pounds on and, whatever great thing happened in their life. But I don't know about you, but when I've done diets before in my past, I was like just trying to get through to get to my goal so I could stop living that way. And so it has a dead end because once we get to that goal and we go back to living the way we did before, we don't learn anything. We just tried to get through hell until we were, a different number on the scale. And we're not here to serve that dish to you. We are here to change your life. Beachbody has a mission of changing people's lives, and that gets to every coach. We are here to change your life and to help you set goals that are specific to where you are in this season of your life so that you can have a good, healthy life until the day you die. It doesn't just end when you wear a size jeans that you have never been in before or since you were 15 or whatever your goal is. So that is the difference, and that takes patience. It takes a switch in your mindset, and it takes a lot of trust. So something I like to put into perspective for you is when you hit that roadblock and when you think it's not working, it's the same thing that I've done before, is how long have you lived that way, where the temptations trip you up, where the stress trips you up, where the triggers trip you up, where I don't know, the roadblocks come or you just are, living a life where you're eating things that aren't fueling your body right, or you're living in a life where your habits are not getting you to the goals that you want. How long have you lived like that? And then how long have you been doing the things that your coach has told you to do? Most often you have been doing those things, those habits that you want to change for a lot longer than the things that your coach has told you to do and helped you to get set up to do. So put that into perspective. It takes time to change your life. Something I run into, this will be my third go around, is every postpartum season, I feel uncomfortable in my skin. My mindset might change because of the gift of this group and community. Praise God. But, my body changes so much in pregnancy. And even in the beginning of the pregnancy, when I start to gain weight, I start to worry I'm going to gain too much. I start to worry about what I look like, and postpartum, it's kind of similar. So I have to remind myself every postpartum, like, not only did it take 9 months for my body to change and grow this human being, but I had to take 6 weeks to rest and to let myself heal from labor and delivery. And that goes for if you have C-section or vaginal delivery. Like, it is a hard thing on your body. It is a huge change. And that's just an example, but like, even if it's just feeling better after having a baby, you have to remember that took a whole 9+ months to go through. And you can't just expect it to be like, oh my gosh, my body like loves everything all of a sudden, like it just takes time and it takes patience. And it takes being really attentive. And this is where what we do here is different. So the first thing that I think you need to do when you experience these roadblocks, and maybe it is your first roadblock since joining your coach, or maybe it's a roadblock, everybody hits them over and over again. Life changes, seasons change, we grow, and as we grow, we hit new roadblocks. So whatever part of your journey you're at, if you're hitting a roadblock, reach out to your coach and say, X, Y, and Z are my roadblocks. This is what has tripped me up before, and I don't know how to get past it. And trust that she can help you, and really take her advice and have the conversation with her. Don't just say, okay, like I need to take her advice. I need to not make excuses. I just need to do the thing. No, if it really realistically isn't something that's going to work for you, have the conversation. Be attentive to yourself and know when you're making excuses and when you are like, I legitimately can't make that work in my life. But have the conversation, take her advice, figure out what advice is going to work for you, and set goals that are attainable. Like if you're doing 2B mindset and drinking 16 ounces of water before you eat a meal sounds earth-shattering crazy talk, then drink 8 ounces. I don't care, drink 4 ounces. You're building a whole new habit. If you got through a day drinking 4 ounces of water for the entire day, most days, then drinking 16 ounces 3 times a day is crazy. So start small. You don't have to do it perfectly. So set goals that are attainable. Or, another example would be like follow Plate It for just one meal for a week, right? Or follow your containers for one meal a week, and try that for so many days and build momentum, build belief in yourself. And as you go through your journey, and you make these goals and you hit these goals and change your goals and grow, be really, really attentive to all the micro details. And that might sound really overwhelming and stressful. But as you go along and you find something where you are tripped up and maybe you forgot to follow your meal plan. Maybe it's been a week and you forgot you even have Shakeology or you're in a challenge group. Pay attention to what's going on in your head. Why are you skipping your workout? Are you actually really tired because you just worked a 12-hour shift every night for the whole past 4 days and you've never worked out when you've worked night shift for that many days? We'll figure out, there are so many nurse coaches in here. There's so many. And if your coach is not a nurse, she can ask the other coaches that are nurses and figure out what does it look like in those crazy times, and, just pay attention to what's tripping you up. Why aren't you drinking your Shakeology? Is it just not part of your routine? Do you need to set a reminder? Do you need to make a meal plan and schedule it in? Why are you forgetting about your meal plan? You paid for it. Like, get your money's worth, people, So make a schedule, make reminders, set reminders on your phone, set them around your house, but also just pay attention to how you're feeling. Pay attention to how you're feeling when you give into a craving. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself after you give into a craving. Pay attention to how you feel when you skip a workout for a day or a week or a month. Pay attention to how you feel when you get your workout in. Pay attention to how you feel when pay attention to all those things in your mindset and what's a trigger and what's a bad habit you need to change or what's something that you just really can't figure out. Because you're going to need to identify where you need to give yourself grace and where you're giving yourself too many excuses. And so you can reflect on that constantly. Like I'm saying, like the micro details you need to take note of, but if that's really overwhelming, just take 10 minutes at the end of the week, especially if your coach checks in with you every week. when you get that message, think, okay, I need to set 10 minutes just to think about what went on in my head this week and how I did with the tools that I am equipped with. And think about the things that you're saying to yourself. Like, are you saying things like, I'm not good enough? I'm not strong enough? You know, if you're saying things like that, that's the mean girl and she need to shut up. So you need to figure out how to speak kindly about yourself and what kind of feelings come up when you, you know, what you're hearing in your head, what kind of things you're feeling when things don't go the way that you wish they would. And learn to forgive yourself. Learn to forgive yourself for not doing things the way you thought you would do them. Because there's not a single person that I know that has been a part of this group or been a part of Beachbody in any way that has not had to learn a whole heck of a lot about themselves. Whether they're a challenger on a free trial of Beachbody on Demand or they're the top freaking coach in the company. Like, everybody is on this journey for life, and that means they're learning a lot about themselves. And when you're learning a lot about yourselves, you're learning to make a lot of changes. And it's not easy to learn about ourselves because we see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you have to learn to forgive yourself, to be honest with yourself, and to move on. Some ways to help with that is to look at the posts in your challenge group every day. A lot of times we find out about our coach, or we find out our coach is a coach because we see the beautiful, inspiring posts that they share on social media. Well, you get a deeper inside service of that when you're in their challenge group. You get an even more purposeful message spoken to you every single day in your challenge group. So don't take advantage of that, because yeah, you paid for your products, but you also, part of that is paying for that service. So get in your challenge group and let those posts every day drive you forward. I mean, how long does it take? Are you scrolling social media at the end of the day? It takes 2 seconds. If you can't remember, set a reminder on your phone. Because that is such an easy way to fill your cup and to be reminded of what we're doing here and why it is different and why this is going to change your life. Commit to coming to these calls. Commit to listening to the recording. If you're really, really, really busy, break it up, you know, a couple minutes of the call. And if you have a 10-minute commute, listen to 10 minutes of it on your way there, 10 minutes on your way back, and then there's more left, listen to it the next day. Get creative with how you dig into this community and learn from it. And do personal development. Guys, this is my weakest point, is personal development. I'm constantly telling the team, so I didn't do any personal development for the last 2 weeks. It's bad. But when I am struggling or not, it's always life-changing. And I know that it can be kind of weird at first to be like, okay, do I really need self-help? Well, it's not crazy talk. It's people, you know, who have probably been going through exactly what you're going through, and they're going to speak life over you and tell you, you know, how to get through what you're going through and empathize with you, you know. And you can find personal development with whatever you're struggling with. Are you struggling with your quality of sleep? You can find personal development for that. It doesn't just have to be yay, you're the best. It can be legitimate issues that you're having and you need life spoken over. It can be help on prioritizing. That can help your whole life. It can be help with your lack of self-confidence or belief in yourself. There's so much personal development out there. So if you are like me and have a hard time making it a habit, I find it easiest to find a podcast that has short episodes, 15 minutes max. and making them like my go-to, but also just identify what's your biggest struggle, what's tripping you up the most. And then if you can't find personal development on your own, just ask your coach or your challenge group, because I'm sure that the challengers can help too. What personal development they know of that speaks specifically to that topic. So in order to find out what personal development you need to be attentive to what's going on in your journey. You need to show up in your journey. You need to pay attention to what's tripping you up so that you can have the life spoken over you. So you can reach out to your coach and say, help me with this. So aside from focusing on all the things that trip you up, count your wins. Count your wins. And what does that mean? It means pay attention to the things that are changing for the better. The things that make you feel good, but also the habits that you're changing, the habits you're creating, the old habits that you're starting to do less of, the mindset that you're having that's shifting. And it can totally be the weight loss you're having. It can totally be how you feel in your skin and when you look in the mirror. It can totally be, I've been taking medication and now I need a smaller dose, or my numbers at the doctor are better. Those are amazing wins, but it also needs to be the micro wins. I made Shakeology for the first time since I bought it. That's a win. Don't be ashamed. That's a freaking win. No win is too small. I repeat, no win is too small. Just like I want you to pay attention to the micro details of what's tripping you up, you have to pay attention to the micro details of what is going well. And that can be, I think differently. That can be, I gave myself permission to let somebody tell me I looked good today. It can be anything, and nobody can tell you what's not a win. That's not what we're here for. And I used to struggle with an eating disorder. And the mean girl in me told me that I was, it just made me ashamed all the time. And no win was good enough. So I know what that feels like. But nobody can do that. Nobody can define winning for you. You can define winning. Your coach in this community is here to encourage you and to carry you forward, but they're not here to define winning for you. So not even your coach can say, that's not a win. They're not going to do that, but they can't anyways. That's not what we're here for. So it doesn't matter what your wins are. Just count them, and don't be afraid that they're too small or not good enough. Even if they don't feel like something you can be proud of, just start thinking that way. Start labeling good things as wins, because you're going to start changing your mindset that way. Also, through all of this, being patient with this journey is hard. And trusting, you're not just trusting your coach and you're not just trusting your products. Sure, you are, and you're learning to trust something new, but you're learning to trust your body. You're learning to trust your mind. You're learning to trust yourself, that you can change, and that you can take on new challenges, and that you can be successful. And that takes a lot of patience, and that takes a lot of determination. And that's a really big challenge to take on. So I just wanted to let you know that it's okay for it to be hard. And it's okay to be impatient with yourself. Just be forgiving, and try to learn to trust what we're doing here, what you're doing here, that you belong here, and to trust yourself that you are able to do this. Whatever your goals are, you're able to get there. So that is all that I have. Woohoo! Only 5 minutes till 9. That is like good timing. Did anyone want to say anything, Sarah? Did you want to say anything? No? Okay. Okay, well then.
Just that you're amazing. And I legitimately I messaged Kelly at the beginning of this and I said, did you tell her to say that to me? Because I kid you not, all that stuff at the beginning, that was my like frantic text to Kelly this evening, like, oh my gosh. And she's like, just have some patience. It just takes some time. And I'm like, ah! I'm like, I had a legit like meltdown over this very thing. And I was like, did you tell her I said that? Like, did you pump her to talk about this tonight? And she's like, no, I totally didn't.
That's so
awesome. It was perfect.
I'm so glad it spoke to you. Okay, well, then I will close us in prayer and we'll be finished up here. Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for this community, for the people that are here. I ask that you give them peace and bless their hearts this evening. Open their hearts to hear what you need to say to them. And Lord, we just glorify you for the ways that this has blessed our lives and changed it for the better. And we ask that you open our hearts and help us to just embody and embrace the virtues of patience and trust as we move forward in our journeys. Conquer our fears, Lord, and help us to just move forward, because you have blessed us with these bodies. You have blessed us with the gifts in our lives. Help us not to take them for granted, but to care even better for them. You called us to love our neighbor as ourselves. So Lord, help us to love ourselves. Help us to take care of ourselves. Because when we love ourselves like you have called us to love ourselves, then that love overpours to everybody else. So Lord, just fill us this week and be with us as we journey forward. Help us to have self-awareness and self-knowledge. Help us to be humble and honest with ourselves as we make our goals, as we conquer the roadblocks that come up in our journey. And Lord, shed light on the good things that are happening, the good that we are doing, the love that we are learning to have for ourselves, for those in our lives, and just for everything. Give us hearts of gratitude moving forward. And Lord, we ask this all in your most holy name. Amen. Thanks, everybody. Have a really good night.